Hey guys, what's up? Sorry that there's no actual video to this, but I just don't feel like setting up the camera. Because you really don't need to see me shirtless, so blah. Anyways, I thought I was done with the updates here, but it's only fair that I state that later tonight I came home after being out to find that Crazy did allow some of my comments to show up on his video. Hooray for him! Unfortunately, he then proceeded to show his stupidity by trying to show how those statements were wrong, and I am pretty sure he left out one or two of them. So he still fails. Also fails miserably by constantly overusing the word fail when there is no failure in my part whatsoever. And I invite, you know what, I should have done this with the other videos, and I'm probably going to update the other videos so you guys can check out the links yourselves. But I'll put it up on here so you can check out the comment section yourself. Good luck if you want to comment to him to try to get through, though. I have a funny feeling, because I tried to make some responses to him, and I noticed now that I don't even get the whole comment pending. So I have a funny feeling I'm blocked. I am not too sure, and quite frankly at this point, I don't really care. I know what this whole game is, but yeah, his whole insulting thing, when you basically give him comments and then he will respond and mislead anybody else who's reading it and then try to insult you at the same time. Like when he's complaining about leaving crap out, I'm leaving certain things out when he's the one who's leaving things out. And well, I'll give you some examples. I'm kind of rambling here, it's late at night, and there's so much shit to go through, and you can just you could check it out for yourself. But here's a good example. He brings up Peter 3:1, and actually no, he brings up Peter 3:7, talking about how, you know, they're showing that like husbands are supposed to give honor to the wife, but for some strange reason he doesn't talk about the whole weaker vessel part. If women are supposed to be equal to men in the marriage, why are the women the weaker vessel? I asked him that question. He completely skips over it and just simply says, in no way does that mean that the wife is subservient and not equal in knowledge. It means in most cases men are physically stronger than women. It doesn't say anything about physical strength. It just simply states that she's the weaker vessel. And if you read all of Peter, 1 Peter from 3 all the way through, it specifically states how the woman is weaker. In fact, if you read from Peter 1 through 6, it explicitly states that not only is the wife subservient to the husband, but like Sarah, they're supposed to be like Sarah, who obeyed Abraham and called him her master. You guys might remember that I went into this in detail in my second to last video. Of course, he glances over all of that and then tries to say that I'm the one who's cherry picking here. Again, if you go over to his comment section of that video, you can read it for yourself. It's amazing how stupid it is. The last thing he put up was that he didn't leave out anything, and that men and women have roles that don't pertain to chauvinism. The man's roles are to love the wife so much he'll die for her and respect her, and all this crap about together their prayers will be hindered. That doesn't change the fact that it still says the woman is supposed to be subservient to the husband, you idiot. Just because you're saying, oh, it's not male chauvinistic, they just have roles to play. Yeah, and the roles that are played is that the man lords over the wife, and then the wife is supposed to be subservient. You're not saying anything different. And then his last statement to me was, did you know after Moses made laws for relationships and marriage, Jesus came and changed them? And then after that, Paul came and changed them again for the final change in 1 Corinthians? Fail! You know, I feel like quoting the Princess Bride here. You keep using that word, but I don't think it means what you think it means. Because I didn't fail here. And I shall show how the one who fails is actually him. In so many things. First of all, it's funny to me how he gives the standard Christian argument whenever you throw the Old Testament at them. And the weird thing is, I never throw the Old Testament at him. Every quote I've given him is from the New Testament. And yet he's saying that I'm the one who's slow. Look again, guys, check out the comment section. Look at everything I sent him. Not once did I quote from the Old Testament. Everything I gave him was from the New Testament. But he insists that I'm quoting from the Old Testament. Why? Maybe he's banking on the fact that since Christians normally don't read things all the way through, they'll look at the comment section and believe everything he says without looking at what I actually typed. But I digress. He says that Moses changes the law, which is a standard. He says that Moses' old laws were changed, the laws that Moses brought about, because Jesus changed it. Well, we could argue that Jesus stated not that one jot, one tittle shall change from the old law, but I'm not even going to go there. What I'm going to ask is, if the Old Testament laws were changed, why keep on with the attack against homosexuals? It doesn't make any fucking sense. He then brings up 1 Corinthians and saying that that was the final change that Paul gave to marriage. First of all, who the fuck is Paul to be able to change the laws? Paul was just some schmo that Jesus charged to be witnessed to him. He never gave Paul any charge to be the next person to define Christianity. Not at all. But that's a subject for another time. If he's trying to say that Paul defined marriage and made the final changes in 1 Corinthians, then Crazy 316 really is completely ignorant about the events in the Bible and the chronological order of things. Not that I'm surprised, because 1 Corinthians was the 3rd letter that he wrote. After that, the 7th letter he wrote was Ephesians. And if you remember, we discussed Ephesians in my last video. Then, the second to last epistle he wrote, 9, 10, 11, 12, the 13th one, was 1 Timothy. And again, in my second to last video, we went through 1 Timothy, and we know what was said there. So, Crazy, what are you trying to prove? If you are completely wrong by saying that the final change was in 1 Corinthians, because Ephesians and Timothy were written afterwards, and in both of those letters, he clearly states that the woman is supposed to be subservient to the man. Now, if those letters were written afterwards, wouldn't it, be logical to conclude that he must have made the final so-called changes to what marriage is supposed to be like in those letters, rather than in the first letter he wrote concerning this? The stupidity just fucking hurts. It really freaking hurts. Oh, and by the way, I'm expecting him, if he comments to my comments on there, and I don't know if he will, because I have a funny feeling he just simply blocked me. He might, if he responds, state that, the reason why we're still attacking homosexuals is because Paul rails against homosexuals in 1 Corinthians. No, he doesn't. He complains about sexual immorality. There's a difference. And before the Christians come out the woodwork saying homosexuality and sexual immorality is the same thing, to those idiots, I invite them to look up the Greek words that were actually used in that context. See, the word that was actually used in Greek does not mean homosexual. I'm going to try to pronounce the word in Greek, but I don't know Greek, so forgive me on this, but it's arsenokotai. Arsenokotai, they're not really too sure what it means. The roughest translation they can come up with is male concubine or male prostitute. And considering that Paul is mostly talking about sexual excess, i.e. men running around having sex all willy-nilly, we could probably translate it as something to mean man whore. It has also been suggested that the word could simply mean somebody who takes advantage of other people's vices to make money. This is something that's still being argued by theologians today. But one thing that is agreed by many honest theologians is that the word has nothing to do with homosexuals, since there were ancient Greek theologians who talked about homosexuality, and this word, arsenokotai, was never ever used in those talks about homosexuality in Greek. Never. Don't take my word for it. Do the research yourself, guys. I mean, hey, that's what the internet is for. It's not just for porn, guys. Yeah, porn's fun, but it's not just for porn. Do some research. Pick up some books. Hit the library.
It's also for fanfic.
Yeah, it's also for fanfic, too, as my wife will attest. So, yeah. It's weird. I really think Crazy has become a bit like a cartoon caricature of himself with how he constantly keeps using fail, failbot, fail, and the only one who's failing is him. It's like he's announcing what he does with every comment that he puts out, because it doesn't.
Thank you for the notification.
I mean, honestly, it doesn't take more than a cursory look at the Bible to see how wrong he is. And he's trying to argue with somebody with 19 years of studying this shit. 19 years of actually studying it rather than just simply going by what the priest told me was in it. Oh, it hurts the mind. It just hurts the mind.